If you look down at Earth from orbit during the right time of year, you can spot a human gathering so massive it physically alters the landscape. This is the Kumbh Mela in India. Zoom in closer, past the millions of pilgrims, and you start to find anomalies that defy the typical rules of infrastructure, like a fully functioning post office that sits on a floating platform in the middle of a lake. These quirks often hide deep historical roots. Even a routine act like washing your hair traces back to the Sanskrit word shampoo, which described the practice of a medicinal head massage. Long before the mass production of synthetic cleansers, Indian botanical texts detailed complex herbal concoctions designed for both hygiene and therapy. That same pattern, taking a complex natural property and refining it into a functional tool, is embedded in the foundations of the modern world. If we look closely at our current systems, we find this blueprint everywhere. While botanical chemistry solved local problems, Indian scholars were also developing a universal language to describe the physical world: mathematics. This fragment of the Bakshali manuscript contains early evidence of shunya, or zero. It shows the transition of zero from a philosophical idea of a void into a functional mathematical placeholder. Centuries before Pythagoras, Indian texts like Bodhayana's Sulba Sutras described the exact relationship between the sides of a right-angled triangle. These ancient proofs provided geometric logic, stating a rope stretched along the diagonal produces an area equal to the vertical and horizontal sides combined. This document, Pingala's Meru Prastara, reveals the same pyramidal logic we now associate with Pascal's triangle. It sits alongside other early Indian developments like the sine function, which was refined to map the movement of the stars. By treating zero as a number with its own algebraic properties, these scholars built the decimal system required for binary logic. This provided the core mathematical architecture used to process data in the modern digital age. That same rigorous observation was applied to biology through Ayurveda. This system focused on gut health and systemic balance as the primary drivers of physical and mental well-being. Because these botanicals were highly effective, they became the world's most sought-after commodities. This expertise made India the central hub of the ancient spice trade. European arrivals struggled with tropical fevers that their own medicines couldn't touch. Contemporary records from the period show they survived by adopting local herbal therapies and the knowledge of Indian physicians. This concentrated wealth eventually attracted colonization. The East India Company extracted immense resources, creating a massive economic drain on the treasury for over a century. While the physical wealth was extracted, the underlying traditions of observation and resourcefulness survived. That legacy now fuels the country's modern industrial growth. In the 21st century, that historical focus on functional systems has been scaled into a massive manufacturing landscape. The Make in India initiative has pushed the nation to become the world's second-largest manufacturer of mobile phones, producing millions of units annually for the global market. Beyond physical hardware, a new digital layer has been laid down to streamline the entire economy. It's called the Unified Payments Interface, or UPI. This system now processes 46% of all global real-time digital payments. It has turned a fragmented financial landscape into a single high-speed network. UPI is the latest evolution of the Indian blueprint, taking a massive, complex challenge and building a solution that works for hundreds of millions of people simultaneously. That drive for efficiency is now being applied to the most expensive frontier of all: outer space. This data shows the significant budget gap in planetary exploration. India's Mangalyaan reached Mars orbit for about $74 million, roughly 1/7 the cost of comparable Western missions. In 2023, Chandrayaan-3 achieved a soft landing on the Moon's south pole with a budget of just $75 million. This model of frugal innovation relies on disciplined mission scoping and the reuse of proven designs. It prioritizes high-functioning engineering over massive, bespoke budgets. From the early formalization of zero to the most cost-efficient lunar mission in history, India's legacy is defined by a specific type of resourcefulness. It is the ability to build world-leading systems that are efficient enough for the rest of the world to actually afford.